it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing.
With 19 albums and EPs, over 100 original songs, and over 110 remixes, it is surprising how little people know about this musician, how unappreciated her work goes to. Although it may be associated with her past persona and her allegations, that can make sense as to why people want to disassociate themselves with her music. And that artist is Sadboy Sheldon, also known as Jamboy Sheldon, also known as June, also known as Jungkook, who is officially known as Sewerslvt. Although it's hard to know who is behind Sewer, we do know a few details about them. Firstly, she was born in Adelaide, South Australia, and began her identity on the internet as Sadboy Sheldon on February 2nd, 2016 as she created her YouTube channel at around the age of 16. In the channel, she would mostly post a lot of meme and shitpost type of mixes, with frequent collaborations with another mixer, Punk's Bakery. Her identity at the time would be shown as Sheldon from the Nickelodeon show My Life as a Teenage Robot, which gives her the name of Sadboy Sheldon. At that time, Sewer would be mostly well known for creating large-scale albums, with releasing her first mixed album, Jenny Wakeman and the Infinite Autism. Yeah, that's the actual title, which are a collection of random mixes created by Sheldon. However, this album would be infamous for one of the album's tracks, which would later on be important, which was that. And overall, the album would have a mixed reception at its release. Her second album would feature in the experimental hip-hop group Death Grips in the 2016 hit indie game Hotline Miami, in which it would help to create No Hotline Deep Miami, released on May 24th, 2017, which was overall a huge success for her, as it would help to grow her small community, and the project would gain over 1 million views, which at the time was quite high for her. And whilst the album to me is pretty like, I don't know, maybe this is not for me, and I haven't really listened to any of Death Grips or Hotline Miami before, but it would receive a positive reception nonetheless. However, her reputation would be damaged heavily due to her next album. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that. It's pretty obvious what it says. The album will include a bunch of meme shit post type mixes, and if you actually do listen to these type of mixes, then go ahead, but I really did not enjoy any of this. Even though it's trying to be a meme, I guess. I barely felt anything from his music, but just more annoyed. He would eventually release 2 more albums in that same year. My Beautiful Dark Teenage Robot, a clear reference to Kanye West's album My Dark Twisted Fantasy, and the blatant misuse of Jamboy's instrumentals, which is how he got the name of Jamboy Sheldon as well. However, neither of these albums would do much for Sheldon's growth, and she would slowly fade away from this identity. Furthermore, viewers of Sheldon would create speculation around Sheldon's songs, and more specifically Sheldon's themes of lolly content, with the obvious being the use of Jenny Wakeman. However, as soon as Sadboy Sheldon faded away around late 2017, she would emerge once again as the new alias, Sewerslvt. Instead of using a character from a TV show to represent who the alias is, she represents herself as a young, emotionless, purple-haired anime girl, which can be said to be very problematic as well due to the previous allegations. On November 22nd, 2017, she would release her first album under her new alias, titled Don't Be Afraid of Dying, which will show Sue's new style of music she uses. I'm gonna be completely honest in saying how much of a big step up it was compared to all of her other previous work. The whole album's a very eerie, futuristic, and atmospheric, and it gives me a lot of those PS1 or old video game vibes. and yet you have this uncomfortableness when listening to these songs, and you can't really just put to words as to why they make me uncomfortable. Another unique signature of Sewer would be her visual work. It's hard to describe it, but to summarize, it's very distorted and static. But you can recognize what's happening in the album covers or any visual media, but it's so hard to distinguish what's actually happening, which can make you feel uncomfortable. Sewer continued to use this style to this day throughout her album covers and thumbnails, and we've influenced a lot of people with this style. But I'm just getting a little slightly ahead of myself right now. Despite the album being overall fantastic, there's still a lot of problematic things about it, especially with the title of the songs and her new name. The name Sewerslvt isn't a randomly selected name. In fact, she had another name as well, which makes it obvious as to her inspiration, and that's Junko. If these names don't ring a bell, maybe she will. Sewerslvt and Junko are references to the young Japanese student Junko Furuta, who was sadly abducted and tortured. She suffered from this for 44 days, making it known as the 44 Days of Hell for her. The case will be considered to be the worst case of juvenile delinquency in Japan. The body will be discovered in a concrete dome/sewer to die in, thus inspiring her to name herself either Joko or grossly Sewerslvt. Unfortunately, the references to Joko doesn't end there, as her full name can be seen through the songs' titles in the album, showing this weird obsession with this girl, and honestly it's uncomfortable thinking about it. And even Sewer is aware of this weird obsession. Sewer will continue on releasing more albums. Child Sacrifice, Interdimension, oh my god. It just gets worse, and Starving Sluts always get their fix. Each of these titles are somehow getting worse, man. And sadly, this isn't the only problem. Whilst in general, all these albums do give off the atmospheric and they're still pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm gonna talk about the music later on, as most of the songs are pretty much very similar. The problem stems with the images used in the album covers. On the album cover of Child Sacrifice, it includes a corpse body on the cover, and many people have said that it's a minor, and they might be right. Starving includes multiple lolly sexual content, which I don't know, I'm never gonna show that. You can just look it up, man. And this. Yeah, I don't even need to explain what's happening there. Thankfully, these images don't reflect upon the quality of music, as they still contain a cybernetic, loud, and terrifying feeling when listening to these. And what surprises me the most is there hasn't been a single word coming out in these songs. So the immense talent that Sewer has, and shows her progression as an artist, but I still question her sanity as her creative decisions with the use of sexual content on the covers, especially when it includes minors. Speaking of songs, even diehard fans of Sewer would really mention the individual songs rather than the albums themselves. The songs that will have a bigger impact than any album are two songs that are by far Sewer's most iconic and popular songs: Mr. Kill Myself and Pretty Cunt. These two songs are no doubt the ones that would influence Sewer to change her alias. Both of these songs embody who Sewer is and her artistic and musical talent. It's everything that I've ever described before, but amplified to another level, with more intensity and instrumentals going on, and a song that would not think any artist would take besides Sewer, thus making Sewer's popularized breakcore in another level. These two songs will help to gross over 6 million views and over 280k likes. In addition to that, her next album, Drowning in the Sewer, was released on June 11, 2019 to a more positive and critical reception, with the big drop being however, that will be dominating on January 25th, 2020, with the release of one of her most popular and critically acclaimed albums that would grow her subscriber base and view count to an insane level, and that's Draining Love Story. What makes this album so unique from anything Sewer has made previously is that I felt like there was an actual story going on with this one. At the start, it starts very slow and eerie, but slowly it becomes louder, and you can hear the iconic signature of Sewer's music comes along and plays. However, this continues on until the end of the song Mr. Kill Myself, with by far two of my favorite songs from this album. Down the Drain, and Slow Death. Down the Drain starts off very slow but then continues to try to rekindle that same excitement that was felt in the middle of the album, and that last spark of energy dies down, which leads to the next song, Slow Death, an incredible conclusion to an otherwise exciting and depressing album. It's a sad ending that can be interpreted as a failing relationship that just cannot get the spark in their relationship anymore. Thus, having this sad ending and this heavenly instrumentals and the atmospheric sounds help to contribute to this depressing and emotional end, making it one of the best conclusions I've ever heard from an album, and this is by far one of my favorites from Sewer. Although Sewer is no doubt a talented musician, this doesn't remove her from controversy, and yes, there's still more. Upon the huge success of Drowning Love Story, Sewer released a few images that are yet again lollies, but this time it's a futa, and yep, you can definitely imagine the family's not being happy about her weird decision to sending this on the social media platforms, thus leading to her fanbase being split, and that resulted in her getting a minor cancellation as a result. In addition to that, Sewer has also been sent harassment from 4chaners and making harsh comments, mainly transphobic comments. This has led her into a downward spiral, as she has hinted at considering suicide, with a post on Instagram concerning a lot of fans, but that video will be later used on the Mr. Kill Myself's video. And of course, since it's 2020 and Twitter exists, there has to be some cancellation going on, especially with Sewer's other alias, the main one being the use of the N-word as the main title of one of her joke albums. And even though she has apologized multiple times about this, saying that she was an edgy 16-year-old trying to look cool, and tries to move on from the side by deleting all of her previous works. With the cancellation on Twitter and the continuous hate towards Sewer, this would eventually lead her to have a breakdown and confess to being a psychopath with the release of an album called The World Is Fucked. In addition to the hate and criticism towards her, her response to the criticism isn't always justified, with her blaming being an edgy 4chaner. Yeah, I wish I was making this shit up. This would eventually lead her to delete all of her social medias and went to a psych ward in February this year, which would explain her inactivity on her YouTube page and all of her social medias, although she did delete all of them, so you know. It's quite sad to see someone go down to this rabbit hole that she can't really escape from, and the fact that she had to stop her Korean passion in order to get some help. It's hard to say when she actually left the psych ward, but on June 5th, 2021, she would release another album titled Schizophrenia Simulation, another fantastic work of big core songs. She would continue on to make remixes and Halo commentary? Alright. Recently, on October 23rd, 2021, she would release her latest album, Suffering from Melancholy. It seems like she has recovered from all of this, although it's hard for Sewer to move on from the hate. Her incredible impact towards the breakcore genre and the vintage and cybernetic style of visual media has created her own type of genre for herself. And whilst it's hard to say if people forgive her about what she has done previously or right now, it seems like she's doing well. With an active Twitter page and an active Reddit community and a whole bunch of fandom around her style, and it's clear to see how much of an impact she has made towards many of her fans and how her music has helped them a lot. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.